Hi everyone. Earlier we have seen how we can create the entries, read the entries and update the entries into the database like we've done for Puneet 52. We have changed for this particular ID to Smith 37. If you have not seen my Android playlist, go and check it out, the playlist, and the link is already provided in the description. So now here we will do the last part of our CRUD. So that is the deletion part. So let me clear the console. Let me minimize this. As we have already seen, we were interacting with database manager for any operation and we were creating the methods inside that. For example, update employee was created. Now let's create the delete part. For that I will say public void delete employee. We were having employee with ID, name and age. So if you see, employee is having ID, name and age. Now we are going to delete an employee record from the database. For this we need to pass the ID. For ID, let's provide in terms of string only. So string ID, though it is integer or long, but since we are passing in the query, we will go with the ID as string only. And then we will say that to delete the entries, we should get the content values. So content values will be called here again. So content values CV equals new content values, and from this content value only I will say just return whether this is completed or not. If it will be completed, the long will be returned. So after that, let's provide long result equals the database, again the same database which we are using for all operations of SQLite. So database dot delete method will be called from the table, clause and the fields if some writable context we need to write. So I will call the delete method. I will call the database constants or database helper constants for employee table, ID, name, age and these stuffs in the database manager. So I will provide database helper dot employee table. In this employee table I want to delete for a particular ID. So I will say ID, then I'll provide the question mark, then I'll provide the entries for whatever record I want to delete. So I will say new string array of ID. So we are going with this particular ID deletion, the record with this particular ID, we will delete it from the ID part. So let's see what it is saying. It is saying it will return long. So for that only return result and save it. It is saying required type long, provided integer. So when we are calling a delete part, we should provide this as ID. ID is provided as the delete part and this is returning integer. So this returns integer, result will be returned. The other I can also do is that instead of writing and storing in a particular result variable, I can directly return it from here. So I will return it directly from here. Let me delete this part. Now let's go to the activity main where we were doing certain CRUD operations. So we have written code for reading the data. This is a stream which is being used for Java 8. You should check your SDK version because if it is an older version of Android, the latest Java version of stream may not work. For that scenario, you need to pull out the employee, then using for loop you need to print all the details. But as of now, we are not concerned about the SDK version, rather about the create, read, update and delete. So what I am doing here, I will first read out the details, the 5 details will be there. Then I will go with the delete started and delete ends. And since I am having total 5 entries available right now, I will delete the 5th entry. So I will say delete employee which I have created, and I will say to delete the 5th entry or make it 3rd entry only. I will delete the entry with ID as 3, and once the delete ends, I will again print out the details so that you can compare both of them. So let me stop this and restart the application again. Let me expand the console. Data has started and the process end. Now in the console part you can see initially there were 5 data here, 1 2 3 4 5 as the ID. Then we have deleted the employee with ID as 3. So we have deleted this part. And in this, after delete started and after delete ends, we have read out all the details after the delete ends. And as you can see, 1, 2 is fine, 4, 5 is fine, third got deleted. So we have deleted the third entry from the database. So this was about all the CRUD operations which we have seen. We have seen create, we have seen read, we have seen update, and we have seen delete. So this is the basic of how we can do the CRUD operation into SQLite Android database. In coming slides also we will see how we can pull out the entries or details from the request and can read out these details from the front end and can use in the backend part in the activity main. So in coming slide video tutorials, in the activity main we will create entries from the user. We will read out the details and use those details to create the CRUD operations on and connect to the database and set out all the details. So let's see you in the next video. Thank you all.